What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Littleroot Laddering. We are continuing on with the weakness falsely Hatterene, beat up Salazzle stuff that we were playing last episode. If you didn't check it out, highly recommend it. Episode went fairly great, if you ask me. And today we're gonna pull into Ultra Ball. So we are. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. Music. Mustard 2. Sounds great. So yeah, the team has been really enjoyable. I've enjoyed really just like the uniqueness of it. Salazzle is not a Pokemon that you really see a lot, so being able to utilize it to a unique effect, it having access to not only Fake Out but also Beat Up makes it a good partner for the Justice Trio. So excited to see if that can actually transfer over to Series 7 as well. And also, like, having stab both fire and poison is exceptional. The poison coverage is great because stuff like Togekiss is coming back in Series 7, as well as all the Tapus, Rillaboom's coming back. You're exceptionally fast, so you can actually get your beat up off potentially before your opponent can interact with it. The big thing there is they have Follow Me, which is problematic for this, but in Series 6, which we're playing this in, Amoonguss is your biggest counter, your biggest form of redirection, I should say. Being able to have the safety goggles to just say, no, I don't want you to interact with us, has been great. I know we really got to show off both halves of the team last episode. And that's what makes this team really unique, in my opinion, is that both halves of the team feel unique yet cohesive. Being able to have the True Scarf Dracovish have that like middle ground of what you're trying to do as like late game sweeper, because this team is one of those where you Dynamax fairly early, fairly often, it feels like. May it be Cobalion or your Hatterene, depending on the lead, but then having access to both Ferrothorn and Dracovish in the back, potentially, is exceptional, because both of those are hard counters depending on the matchup. If we're facing down Trick Room, then Ferrothorn seems great because you're one of the slower Pokemon in the format, being able to come in and abuse whatever. And then Dracovish holding his Choice Scarf is one of the faster things in this format, and being able to have access to Vicious Ren just means you're putting out a lot of extra damage against your opponent. Really would like to... There we go. Getting paired. Finally. Let's see what our opponent is bringing today. So we're playing against Hard Rain here with Politoed, Kingdra, Dedenne, Amoonguss as support, and then we see their late game sweepers of Dracovish and Scizor. What do we like? I kind of like Trick Room. Just being able to go Riolu Hatterene here seems pretty great, seeing how their big form of redirection is Amoonguss. And I think do I like Salazzle Cobalion in the back? I think I like Mr. Fish and Cobalion in the back. Let's lock it in. We did a little bit of rearranging in the office, and as a result, my camera is a little bit messed up, but seems like it's in a fine spot now compared to where it was. So we're gonna see Amoonguss Scizor here as a lead. I actually don't think we Dynamax. Maybe? What if we coaching into Laddering and switch into Gapolian here? This might be a little strange. I could see a bullet punch into the Riolu. I'm just gonna see a Rage Powder, that's fine. We're gonna Iron Head into the Gapolian then? That one's not Technician boosted. Nope, just Bullet Punch. Okay. So I think I just like another coaching plus going for a Max Airstream into... Actually, because it's been so common the last several the last episode specifically, I'm gonna Bullet Punch this Amoonguss because what if it's holding Focus Sash? We saw it twice last episode, and I would like to not have that happen again, so I'm gonna punch it. Because I would like my Gapolian to not fall asleep. You know, we on the podcast have talked in the past about how Riolu just feels like it doesn't really do anything. But having the addition of coaching has honestly kind of changed my opinion on that. Being able to not only set up Trick Room with Trick Room, like Dynamax Trick Room Copycat, but also just going for priority coaching has been great. It has been exceptional multiple times. And that's something I really liked about the last team we played with the Hitmontop was the coaching aspect. And unfortunately, we don't get to pick up the KO here on the Amoonguss. So unfortunately, Gapolian is going to sleep. I don't think that's overly problematic though. We're going to see the Black Sludge from Amoonguss though. So what if we just go for Copycat? No, because that's not going to work. I wanted to Copycat and Spore the Politoed, but unfortunately that's not quite how that works. So what if we just go for another coaching, go for a Rockfall and do this? We are going to stay asleep this turn. We are guaranteed our one turn of sleep. But now we're +2 attack. We are +2 defense, +1 speed. Focus Sash is going to trigger here. Or we're just going to double into Riolu. We do. Okay. Very interesting. I actually really like that play from our opponent. Like, Riolu doesn't seem like a threat here on the surface, but being able to take us out before we actually get to set up and do things with Riolu seems pretty good, all things considered. And here we just get to bring out Dracovish and hopefully just take over the game here. So hopefully Gapolian wakes up this turn. We can get a Rockfall off into the Politoed, potentially pick up a KO, seeing how we're +2. Most likely not though. Politoads usually are pretty bulky, non-zero amount of HP and special defense and special defense, but are going to see the Protect come out from our opponent. So the Psychic Fangs is not going to go off this turn, but we are going to get that Rockfall off, which is pretty critical because if they have Kingdra in the back, then we're potentially going to take rid of the rain. We do get that Sandstorm up. Not quite. Nah, about a 2-hit KO onto the Politoed here. We are going to Perish Song. I'm going to try to have this game over by the time that goes off. Because we still have Laddering in the back. So I don't quite understand that play. So now we can Psychic Fangs this. And we can bounce that slot. Because I anticipate the Politoed to protect this turn. Oh, just gonna withdraw the Politoed. Okay. Gonna bring back out the Scizor. Yep, Rage Powder away. Switching out Politoed there is actually pretty good for our opponent. Being able to get back up the rain and get rid of our special defense boost is vital. Gonna pick up the KO on the Amoonguss. No surprise there. This next turn we are going to switch out the Dracovish into the Hatterene. And then the next turn we'll switch out the Cobalion and bring back in Dracovish. So we're gonna see the Toad come out. They are going to set back up Drizzle. This is actually great as well, because now we can switch Dracovish out, get rid of Psychic Fangs, and be able to come back in and set up rain-boosted Fishious Wrens. Do we anticipate a Bullet Punch into the Dracovish this turn? Because if so, that could be problematic, but it's also going to trigger our policy. But it's also Choice Band Scizor, most likely. We're going to see to protect from the Politoed. So unfortunately, the bounce is not going to connect. So we don't see a Bullet Punch. We just see a Superpower into the Cobalion, which we tank because we're at +2. But we're going to get that attack and defense drop from our opponent there. So do we want a Mystical Fire down? Or do we want to just click Dazzling Gleam? And I kind of just like clicking Gleam and switching out into Dracovish. I have a feeling this is Choice Band Scizor. I can't imagine it's not, seeing how they switched out earlier, but if they go for a Bullet Punch here into Hatterene, that's really going to hurt. So we get back out the Dracovish. We're going to see the Hydro Pump into the Hatterene. Good chunk of damage. Going to see the Superpower into the Dracovish. Not so good. We're going to get the Dazzling Gleam off. Pretty decent damage, all things considered. Citrus Berry on the Politoed, gonna restore its HP just a bit. Oh, no, it's a Guava Berry. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I actually think it's correct to switch out into Cobalion here and preserve the Hatterene for another turn and go for a Fishious Wren into the Scizor. See, now it's at -2. It looks like they're staying in. That should be enough for a KO. It is. So what do you have in the back, opponent? And Hydro Pump into the Cobalion, most likely picking up a KO there. Yep. I think that's fine. And now we can bring out the Hatterene. Hopefully they don't have Kingdra as their last. I think Kingdra would probably be worst case scenario. And we do see the Kingdra. It's not all bad, but we are locked into Fishious Wren, which might be enough to pick up a KO on the Politoed. I doubt it. Like, it is rain boosted, but it's also resisted. But we are faster, and it's Fishious Wren powered up by Strong Jaw. Like, it is going to do a good chunk, but I don't think it's going to be enough to pick up a KO. And if this Kingdra has any type of reasonable attack, it's going to be able to take out the Hatterene. Opponent played this well. I was concerned about the Perish song in the middle of the game there, but Forcing us to switch out and get rid of our boost on the Cavalion was pretty critical. Just gonna see a max guard. Beautiful. Getting to burn our opponent's Dynamax turns. And the Fish's Rend is enough to pick up the KO. How many more turns of rain do they have? I can't imagine it's that many. Last turn of rain. So the question is what do you try to KO, opponent? I see an Airstream into, I'm assuming, yeah, the Laddering, which is enough to pick up the KO. This Vicious Rend is not going to be enough to pick up the KO. They're going to be able to outspeed us after. Yeah, unfortunately, not gonna be able to pick up a W here. Maybe it was correct to lock into Outrage instead. Outrage and then just click Dazzling Gleam. Notably, we do outspeed the Kingdra, but I'm assuming, oh, just gonna go for Wormwind. Okay, that's enough for a KO. Close game. I don't think we played that completely optimally, all things considered. But luckily, we get to play a couple more games today to try to get into Ultra Ball. Maybe it was correct to lead like we did, but instead, just go for the Trick Room. It gets punished by Rage Powder on 1, which obviously our opponent went for, if I remember correctly. But the Laddering is immune to Spore, so interesting team here from our opponent. We see Mamoswine, Raichu, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Sylveon, and Talonflame. Really unique team. But it's a team that kind of just folds the Laddering. Like, if we can get a Trick Room up, I feel like we just win. So I think I like Pharaoh. I kind of like Draco in the back, but Dracovish is kind of going to be outclassed by the Tailwind. So maybe we just want Cavalion then? Let's see what our opponent does here as a lead. I'm anticipating Raichu Amoonguss. Or Amoonguss Talonflame. Okay. Raichu Talonflame is also a fine lead. I kind of want to just click Dazzling Gleam. And Protect. Brave Bird into the Laddering. No fake out from the Raichu either. Just gonna double into the Laddering. Interesting. Please no para? Okay. And we got to chunk them really hard there. So, I mean, here we could go for the Dynamax Trick Room, but if we get parried, then we're not in a great position. So, unfortunately, I think we're losing Laddering this turn. So, I don't really have a good switch in. We could switch into Ferrothorn. I don't hate that. Just go into Ferrothorn. Click Copycat for a Dazzling Gleam? This might be okay. I don't hate this play, but... that does literally nothing. Here we are going to see a Brave Bird, presumably into Riolu. Gonna go down to Stash. Opponent is going to take quite a bit on recoil here, though. And we're going to see that Thunderbolt into the Pharaoh. So here I'm going to just click Protect. And go for a Bullet Punch into Talonflame. Get some extra damage off on the way out. Not enough for a KO, but chip damage nonetheless. Makes it where if their future Brave Birds are not going to be great. Yeah, Flare Blitz into Pharaoh. And a Thunderbolt into Riolu. Yep. Good enough for a KO there. So then I think... it's time to go big Cobalion and switch out the Pharaoh into Laddering and let Laddering go down. Let this just be a 2v1. Just take out this Talonflame before it gets to set up anything. They probably... I can't imagine Talonflame's not faster than Cobalion here. So they could reasonably still just go for a Tailwind here on their way out. But Rockfall is going to let us set up Sandstorm for the special defense boost on both Cobalion and Ferrothorn in the back. Hopefully they just try to Flare Blitz into the Laddering this turn. We do see that Flare Blitz. That's good for us. Can you be enough to take out? Not quite. Gonna go for the Nuzzle, which is whatever. It's not that big of a deal. The Para is annoying, but the Para is really annoying. That's huge. So just gonna go for a Protect and go for a max Airstream into the Talonflame. Because we need speed at this point. That Para that turn was really unfortunate. Yep, AV is going to prevent a ton of... Double Para, come on! Just completely burnt our Dynamax this game. I'm going to Seed Bomb the Raichu. We can probably take a hit from the Talonflame because of the Akka Berry. But Double Para is so terrible for us. Like, we live that hit, and like the Talonflame's gonna go down to Iron Barbs plus recoil, but not a great position to be in. Come on! Are you kidding me? That's so unfortunate, man. Triple Para on our 3 Dynamax turns. You hate to see it. That's so unfortunate. It was like, now we're not gonna be able to outspeed this Mamoswine. Probably gonna see a big Sylveon, and like we're in a really terrible position all of a sudden. Like, I think we just have to take out, like, we're not... Yeah, let's just take out the Sylveon, I guess. I could see it being their Dynamax target and having like Choice Scarf on the Mamoswine. Nope, okay, so it's probably Life Orb on Mamoswine then. And like we're just gonna get bodied by it. Yeah, Max Quick into Kabalion, pick up the KO there. Yep. Game did not go great for us, unfortunately. Getting 3 paras on our 3 Dynamax turns is just so unfortunate. But I mean, that's why you play Nuzzle, you know? Like, not only is it a form of speed control, but it also just makes it where you can just win games that you should not win. Yep. That's unfortunate. Like, I feel like we were in that game until we lost our Dynamax. Okay, so we're back. I have no idea what happened. My controller was set up, and then it quit working, and my Joy-Cons wouldn't connect, but now everything's working. I don't understand, but let's just get back into another game. I have no idea what just happened. Everything was working, and then it wasn't, and now it's working again. And I don't know. But so, looking back at that last game while we're trying to get paired for another game here, like, opponent never went for Talonflame, for Tailwind, which is great for us. But because they had the Nuzzle, like, that was their big form of speed control, and they were able to take over the game that way. And the big unfortunate part is we were just never able to capitalize on it because we got triple parried, you know, and that's part of the RNG of this game is sometimes it happens. So, Salazzle Kabalion looks great here for our opponent. Team of Charizard, Duraludon, Pharaoh, Rhyperior, Gardevoir, Urshifu. No redirection, so I'm just going to beat up here on turn 1. I think I like Hat and Draco in the back. I don't see a Sunsetter. I don't think Gardevoir gets Sunny Day, but Charizard's faster than it. So this might not be G-Max Charizard. I don't know. Let's just find out together. Gardevoir's there is Trick Room, Ally Switch shenanigans, most likely. So probably you're going to need to take that out sooner rather than later. So today I started playing Pokemon Y again, and it's the second time I've ever played it. And I debated replaying Omega Ruby, which is one of my favorite games, but again, I've only ever played it once. So which leads me to, that's not at all what I want to do. My question of the day for you all: how excited are you for the upcoming Justice Tree, or the upcoming Hoenn starters in the Crown Tundra? So, for those who don't know, the Hoenn starters were data mined to be in the Pokedex for the Crown Tundra. I, again, can't confirm this because it's still 2 weeks out before the Crown Tundra actually comes released. But what is super interesting about that is it showcases more of the megas, or like potential mega Pokemon that are viable in the future. Like, I believe at this point we're only missing a handful of Pokemon that have Mega Evolutions that aren't going to be in the Crown Tundra, pending that it is actually true. So with that being said, Blaziken, right here above me, is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Easily my favorite Pokemon. Swampert and I have a very, very close connection as well, because I've played Mega Swampert in my first tournament ever. Alongside Politoed, and that's why I'm such a big aficionado of Politoed, and just a huge fan of it as well. So, Sceptile is like the one that I'm really not super close to, but like, it was also the first Pokemon I ever beat Ruby with. It was the first starter that I ever beat Ruby with. So like again, super close to like I've played Ruby so many times, just too many to count at this point. And like all three of them have unique abilities inside of Pokemon. So we get hidden ability on Sceptile is Unburden, which is really sweet because you can pair it with any of the Tapus coming up and their respective seed to double your speed immediately. You also get access to like weakness policy, ice shard shenanigans that you can do. Yeah, Salazzle is going to go down, but it doesn't really matter. We took out their Dynamax because we got our beat up off, so this game's kind of going as great as we can imagine it to. And then, unfortunately, Swampert is like the one that doesn't really do anything outside of its Mega. So, personally, I'm really excited for Blaziken. Blaziken was a big piece of like a Gen 5 team core of Blaziken Bisharp. It's kind of doing similar things to like the Cinderace Bisharp, like Cinderace plus Defiant Abuser, to deter from the... I'm just going to Psychic Fangs this dork and Max Knuckle this dork. So, it's very similar things of what like Cinderace and Defiant or Competitive User were doing in Series 5 before ultimately Cinderace was banned. So really interesting to see what we can actually do there, because we get obviously we get Speed Boost Blaziken, so you just protect on 1, now you outspeed everything on 2 most likely, and so at that point you can Dynamax and abuse the heck out of it, especially since it gets access to U-Turn now. We get access to close combat on Blaziken, so obviously I am very excited for Blaziken. It is by far one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I am so excited to actually get to play with it, potentially competitively for the first time. So to wrap up my question of the day segment, I'm really excited for Blaziken, but I think Sceptile is another one that I'm definitely going to look into to see if it can actually be viable. I think the idea of weakness policy or like weakness policy or either of the shards, seeds, is a really interesting idea that I'm excited to actually see. So it looks like we're gonna pretty easily win this game 3-0. It really wasn't much of a competition here. You didn't really miss much if you were just listening on audio. We one-shot the Charizard, the Dynamax Charizard. We one-shot the Urshifu and the Duraludon. Urshifu obviously was holding Sash, so it went down to Sand instead. And then we one-shot, well, two-shot, I guess, technically, the Gardevoir our opponent had in the back because Psychic Fangs wasn't able to one-shot it. So, didn't really miss much if you're listening on audio. But I think we have time for one more today. I've really been enjoying this team and would like to showcase it a little more if we can. So, Charcoal Charizard here from our opponent. Interesting. Well, it makes sense because Life Orb's over here on Duraludon, but you can also throw Life Orb on Charizard and then your Assault Vest instead of being on Rhyperior, you can be on Duraludon. Weakness Policy Ferrothorn. Speaking of weakness policy Pokemon from last episode, we were talking about what's the weirdest weakness policy Pokemon you've ever seen, and Ferrothorn's up there. That's definitely a Flash Cannon weakness policy Ferrothorn. I need to screenshot this one because people aren't going to believe me when I say this. What is this nature? You're minus defense? What? I am so confused about this. Because you could have... So you want weakness policy on Rhyperior. You want Assault Vest on your Duraludon. You want Life Orb on your Charizard. So what? What? Our opponent's team is wacky, and I was not ready for this today. I want to play one more. I want to showcase this team a little more. I am so confused. I am so confused about what we actually witnessed here. But let's see if we can get another game here in. So we're going to see Kangaskhan, Delmise, Sun Duo of Ninetales Charizard, Urshifu, and Dusclops. Well, once again, they don't have redirection, so I'm just going to click these. We do need to watch out for Fake Out from the Kangaskhan, but that should be fine. Dracovish once again looks excellent. And rounding out the team, I kind of want Hat. Ferrothorn looks really bad in the face of double fire types. So yeah, let's bring Hat. Hat also helps us against, like, we can hit neutrally on Dusclops, neutrally on... we can actually hit Delmise super effectively because we have Mystical Fire. But the big thing that we're going to be doing here is taking out the Urshifu from our opponent. If and when our opponent connects. So, something that is kind of going around that I believe... I can't remember the player's name, but they were playing a Kangaskhan build holding Silk Scarf with Fake Out and Last Resort as their only attacks. Which is really interesting because you compare it next to Dusclops, which we could see here as a lead. Which is so, that's great because we have Hatterene in the back. But Scrappy Fake Out means that you can stop your opponent from doing things. Beautiful shiny. I absolutely love Kangaskhan shiny. So what happens if we Fake Out Urshifu? Let's Fake Out Kangaskhan and go for a Airstream into Urshifu. And then next turn we can beat up plus Knuckle the Kangaskhan. I can see our opponent Dynamaxing Urshifu here. It depends on what they have in the back. They probably want to preserve it for like Delmise if they have it in the back. Notably, we do Dynamax before our opponent, if they are. Again, there's a lot of things that our opponent could not even Dynamax. So, but Kangaskhan's one that I've kind of worked on in the past. I played it in one of the earlier Series 6 Rumbles that we host on our Discord, and they are actually going to Dynamax here, so that's kind of great for us. But it was I believe it was a Scrappy Assault Vest variant, if I remember correctly. It's granted that's been a couple months now. That was early August, I believe, when or late August when I was playing that. So it was a really cool team, very unique. Wondering what our opponent's going to do here with the Urshifu. So as long as they don't take out Salazzle, we should be fine. We're just going to see the Max Knuckle, presumably into Cobalion, but we take that like a champ. So now we can get our beat up off and make our opponent sad. I don't think there's any reason not to just go for another Airstream to guarantee the KO. Opponent could Max Guard. That is a thing they could do here. So as a result, it might have been correct to just Max Knuckle into the Kangaskhan, but I mean, we can maybe take another Max Knuckle? That one I'm not sure about. Just gonna withdraw the Kangaskhan. Going into Charizard. Charizard doesn't look great here. Yeah, and we do see the Max Guard. But we do get our beat up off. And because we're +1 speed already, we just outspeed our opponent. Yeah, probably not going to be able to take another Knuckle from the Urshifu. So probably just need to take that out this turn. And then go for like a Sludge Wave with the Sludge Wave to get some chip damage on the Charizard. Because we outspeed our opponent. That's not a question. So yeah, I like Sludge Wave. Do we want to Airstream or do we want to... Airstream's guaranteed KO. We'll just do that. And then we'll guarantee that we're faster than everything our opponent has. This is like Choice Scarf Charizard, they could outspeed us. But Stone Edge will be able to take that out, no problem. Especially since we're going to get a Sludge Wave off here. It doesn't affect my Cobalion. What is this? And we get the poison on Charizard. That's actually kind of great. And we get that Max Airstream off into the Urshifu, picking up the KO there. Maybe it was correct to go just for Rockfall there. Just to get some more chip onto the Charizard, but it's whatever. Opponent's probably going to bring back out Kangaskhan here and clap our Cobalion this turn. Heat Wave, not going to be enough to pick up the KO on the Cobalion, but if they're going to fake out us next turn, then it's going to be... So it's probably correct to withdraw the Cobalion here, actually. Because I can see them wanting to take it out for sure. So just go for another Sludge Wave. Withdraw and go into... Go on to Vish. Vish is not really going to like this Sludge Wave. But with the Heat Wave plus Fake Out into that slot this turn, that's a lot of extra damage that that Hatterene would be taking, especially off of a super effective Sludge Wave. Notably, we do get to pick up the KO on the Charizard. And they do have Delmise here as their last. So now we can click Heat Wave and crunch the Delmise. Most likely Assault Vest Delmise. So yeah, that poison actually came in super clutch. Let us pick up the 2-hit KO on the Charizard. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that without Life Orb plus poison damage there. And we should be able to at least take out the Delmise this turn. Wow, that did a lot. Okay, we crit the Delmise, but Crunch isn't going to be able to pick up the KO on it. And then another Heat Wave from Salazzle is going to be able to take out the Kangaskhan. Not even going to have to reveal my Hatterene in the back. Yep, and this is exactly what it is. We're going to see the last resort from the Kangaskhan. I'd be very surprised if that's not Choice Scarf. If that's not Silk Scarf. Cobalion should be faster than Kangaskhan if I remember correctly. Yeah, we'll just go for a Sludge Wave because that'll do the same amount of damage, but it won't hit my Cobalion. And it's more accurate. Come on, opponent. You gonna let me take out the KO there? Pick up the KO? So, overall, decent day from this team. Not quite as good as last showing, but we do end up 2-2. And I would love to look at our opponent's team here. So yeah, it's this Silk Scarf, Scrappy, Kangaskhan, Last Resort Fake Out. Yeah, just absolutely exactly what I was talking about here. Assault Vest on the Delmise. I didn't realize it got Grassy Glide. That's really interesting. Choice Scarf Ninetales. Hypnosis Safeguard's interesting. Just in the face of all the Amoonguss going around, just knock it off. We do see the Life Orb Charizard. And the Focus Sash on the Urshifu. Icy Wind? What is this? Dusclops? This is sweet. I'm a fan of this Dusclops. Yeah, this is a sweet team our opponent has here. Kangaskhan, Dusclops, Sun Duo, which I'm a big fan of, and then Urshifu, Delmise. Yeah, I can get down with what our opponent is doing there. And before we call it a day, I would like to see if we can celebrate and say we're an Ultra Ball gamer. Come on, give it to me. I want to see it. We are officially an Ultra Ball gamer, people. So, hopefully we can pull into Master Ball this week and be really high into it before the season gets too early. So, that is going to go ahead and do it for today, everyone. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and answer that question of the day of what do you think about the Hoenn starters potentially for Series 7 and the foreseeable future for VGC. Pending that they come back, the data mine could be incorrect, and we don't know that they actually are. Nintendo has not confirmed that they are in yet, but I'm really hoping so because they're some of my favorite Pokemon of all time. All three of them are. So, and if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Ring that bell for notifications when new stuff goes live. And I promise that this technical issues of my controller doesn't happen often if you are new, so sorry if this is your first video ever. But make sure you go ahead and follow the podcast and myself and my wonderful co-host of the podcast, Carl, on Twitter. All that is up above me and should be down in the description as well. Join the Discord if you're new to the community. Our community is fantastic. Cannot wait to start the Monotype Draft League. Should have videos going up next week for it. I am playing CLJ, who is Electric. I am Dark. I got Dark in the draft, and I'm super excited because if everything goes right, my entire team's going to be shiny all season. So that is going to do it for me, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Peace.